All right, now we're going to learn midpoint approximation for the definite integral, summation notation for it, and how to evaluate that using summation notation. Midpoint's a little bit more complicated because you're averaging out your x values. Now, you will notice that you will have 8 total x values, but it will be the average of these, your actual spacing. So, for example, for this first one, you're starting at negative 1.75. To get the height of this rectangle, you go down until you hit the graph, and then you draw your rectangle in. You average the next two values, x values, go down until you hit the graph, draw your next rectangle, and you do that for every single rectangle. I like midpoint because it does seem like a happy medium between left and right. We're going to take a look and see how it sizes up in comparison to our approximations using left and right. So for example, this first y value is negative 2.06. If you plug in negative 1.75 into this function, negative 2.06 times 0.5 would give the area of the first rectangle, and so on and so forth. And so again, like left and right, if we just add up all of our y values and multiply by the width of each rectangle, that will give us the area of all of these rectangles added up. So here's all of our y values. Again, since this is definite integral, we include the values below the x-axis as negative. Everything above the x-axis, like these rectangles are positive. So add up all these y values, and you actually get negative 2.5. And if you multiply by a half, the width of each rectangle, you get negative 1.25. Now this is actually a little bit closer than to the actual value than left and right. So again, here's the actual value of the signed area between the x-axis and 1 minus x squared from negative 2 to 2. It's negative 1.33. And if we go to midpoint, we can see that it's only 0.8 off. Our other approximations were 1.7 off. So we can see midpoint is more accurate here. And that's because, again, we're doing the kind of a happy medium between the left and the right point. We're using the midpoint. All right, so how do we represent midpoint using summation notation? Well, again, we start with the width of each rectangle, and then we multiply by the heights of all of our rectangles, the midpoints. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated than left and right, so I will explain it. First of all, change of x is pretty simple, right? That's the width of each rectangle. Since we're choosing 8, the width of each rectangle is going to be 0.5. If we chose 16, the width would be 0.25, so on and so forth. So m represents our midpoint approximation. N is the number of rectangles. Remember, a is your left integral boundary, in this case negative 2, because we're starting at negative 2. And then right is your rightmost, which is your b value, in this case 2. We're using 8 shapes. Change of x is your width of each rectangle. I is your counter. So let's try to make sense of this summation notation for midpoint. Well, you're still starting with a. However, instead of doing a plus I times change in x like we did with left and right, we have to subtract that by 1/2. Okay, and that's because if we just did a plus 1 in this case, it would give you negative 2 plus, I'm sorry, it'd be a plus 0.5. Sorry, I is let's see. Yeah, it'd be a plus 1 times 0.5 would give you negative 1.5, but that won't work. We have to do negative 1.75. So the way this works is you have to subtract your counter by 1/2. So if we do 1 minus 1/2, that's 0.5. So we're basically taking half. We're adding half of the width of each rectangle. So 0.5 times 0.5 is 0.25, and negative 2 plus 0.25 gives you negative 1.75, which is exactly what we want. Now, does that give it, how do we get to the next one? Well, when you increase your counter by 1, when this becomes 2, you will be multiplying by 3 halves. 2 minus a half is 3 halves times the width of each rectangle. Half of 3 halves would be 3/4, or 0.75, and if you take -2 and add 0.75, you get -1.25. The midpoint approximation formula is a little bit different in that you're subtracting this 1/2. That will ensure that each rectangle is offset so that the y value is determined by the midpoint between your x values. Start out by, when I is 1, multiplying by half. When I is 2, you multiply by 1.5. In other words, you hop a half plus 1 more. When you multiply by 3, you multiply by 2.5. So you hop a half and then 2 more, and then so on and so forth. The formula takes care of itself. So let's make this more concrete. The width of each rectangle is 0.5. When we have 8 rectangles, we still go from I equals 1 to 8. The only difference, again, between midpoint and left and right is instead of a plus I times change in x, it's I minus 1/2, and that creates our offset. So let's go back to our formula here for midpoint. So a is going to be -2, so we're going to plug that in. Change in x is still 0.5. We're going to put that first, and then it's I minus 1/2. Let's go to the calculator and see how we can plug this in. Okay, so again, I'm going to, now that was our right point approximation. I'm going to go down and do midpoint. We're going to start with the width of the rectangle, which is 0.5. Then we're going to go to our keyboard and type in SUM for sum. And I'm going to change my counter to I. And again, this is for midpoint. I'm going to go from 1 to 8. And then I'm going to type in parentheses because I'm going to be plugging in a function with the counter inside of it. So it's going to be 1 minus x squared. I'm going to put a parentheses wherever the x is. I'm going to square it. Now, what's different here is we're plugging in -2 plus 0.5 times I minus 1/2. Again, the I minus 1/2 offsets it to ensure that we're doing the midpoint approximation. I minus 1/2 makes sure that our y values of the heights are determined by halfway between. So I'm going to do -2 plus 0.5 times I minus 1/2 in there. Again, -2 is your starting a value. I have to hop back just to make sure I plug this in right. 0.5 times I minus 1/2. Put parentheses around what the I minus 1/2. You could do I minus 0.5. It doesn't matter because I minus 0.5 is the same as I minus 1/2. Okay. Now you can't see the entire formula. I wonder what happens if I flip this. Okay, I was able to move it over so you can kind of see that what's being squared is the a, or the -2, plus change in x times I minus 0.5. That's what's being squared. And over here on the left, we have the summation notation. And before that, we had the width of each rectangle, and it gives us the approximation of -1.25. Now again, that's actually closer than the left and right. Now again, what we want to do is increase our number of rectangles for midpoint. We can see it actually converges a little bit quicker than left and right. In other words, before we even get to 100 rectangles, we're getting that -1.3 value, which again is the actual value of the different integral. The way to write that in terms of the number of rectangles approaching infinity is the limit as the number of rectangles approaches infinity for a midpoint approximation equals the definite integral from a to b of f of x, where a and b in this case are -2 and 2, and f of x is 1 minus x squared. Again, the definite integral represents the signed area under the curve, where anything below the x-axis is negative and anything above is positive. So the limit as the number of rectangles approaches infinity is equal to the definite integral, or the signed area. That's it for midpoint approximation. And writing it in terms of summation notation using Riemann sums. If you have any other questions about this, let me know.